We'll just do the intro, bro, and that requires minimal.
It's coming on.
Hey. It's
right.
now live streaming. We're on, bro.
We are now live streaming. So,
I gotta try and work out how to share this bad boy. Hang on. Let's get it out there.
Don't worry about sharing it. No one's watching anyway. No one wants to watch our stupid podcast.
Do, man. Mom and dad, they'd be so disappointed.
All right, fine.
So disappointed.
So, dude, what's up? All right, listen. While you're kerfuffling on your phone there, let me talk to the people. Let me give them what they want.
People, bro. Address them.
All right. So, hey, welcome.
Tickle their ears, Mike. Tickle their ears.
With my we've now thrown you threw me off. We've thrown this on live stream, as we said we're gonna start doing, and we're just gonna turn the YouTube thing into a live stream thing. I don't even know what particular benefit that's going to have. But, maybe if you're around, feel free to join us. Like, no, we're just going to pretend like we're not live streaming. But if someone joins us, that'll be awesome. And then I'll try and get around. I'm trying to create a smooth workflow that I can actually get the time to actually turn this into something that will be listenable, on a podcast, which I haven't put out a podcast version of this for a while. So sorry about that. If you are, you're missing those podcasts. In fact, that's where most of our listeners are, and not on live. So I'm kind of missing the stuff. It's just that it's so much easier just to do the live stream thing because there's no editing. So, but what I'll do is I'll get organized. We're working on it. And thanks for joining us tonight for me, this morning for my brother. Good to have you with us, and let's keep talking theology, people. I hope you appreciate it. Well, in New Zealand, we are about to enter into the lockdown. It's going martial law. It's full on. We are.
They're not doing the police thing yet, are they?
Yep. Yeah, that happens. We got a full on national emergency. Text message and went out to every citizen, kind of thing.
Yeah, we had that too.
Pretty full on. Yeah. So and so you can't walk. Yeah, I mean, you just got to be at home, And they got all these things. Everyone's closed now, and so it's full on lockdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which is cool. That's good. I'm glad they're doing it.
It is what it is, and we trust the God's at work behind it. One benefit, there's some benefits you can see already, as to what God may be doing. It's like a lot of people are having to do forced rest, and a lot of people are now being given Christian content that's accessible to them from the kind of anonymity of their own home, whereas before they would have to, or only time they would ever sort of encounter Christian content would have been through going to a church or through a contact that they knew. But now there is just so much Christian content on the web, on the interwebs, that it's like the chances of one of your non-Christian friends coming across Christian content is so much higher now than it used to be. So who knows? Who knows what the Lord's doing? Yeah.
No, and it's kind of like I was reading. I mean, as you mentioned there, it's kind of like a forced Sabbath. We get all the benefits. Everyone's like at home with their families, chilling out, can't work. You imagine, what you're supposed to be doing on the Lord's Day, kind of thing, old school style. It's like the whole world's forced to do that. But it's kind of it's an eschatological judgment for some. Just kidding.
We've covered this, Mike.
I had to throw that in there. All right. So from that to moving on, got some exciting to announce, some exciting news at least. And we want to just kind of, I think, this being a two-age Sojourner podcast and all, we want to just bring it into a bit more of a systematized move forward, in that we want to both recommend an excellent text for Pilgrim Theology, which is what this show is all about. And we've been laboring in on Klein stuff, and we've been doing all of that, and that's right. And we often make mention of Horton, But there is we've mentioned his text or his book. He's got a big systematic Christian faith thing going on. I like the way you cough there. That's good. That's good. Very professional. No one's getting
into the elbow.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And then you rub your elbow on somebody else when you say hello with them.
Yeah, totally.
Don't do that.
So, we want to make sure we are, so that one, that's the big one, the Christian faith. But then he's got the other one, which is not really an abridgment. It's more like a complete rewrite. And it's an abridgment at the same time, and just a little bit easier, a little bit more accessible. So fantastic text. They've got it on Audible. Feel free to, you can get it. I think Audible's putting out all sorts of free stuff right now as well. So go grab yourself. Although that said, the narrator for Pilgrim Theology is the worst I've ever heard in my life. Dude, that guy. Wow. Why didn't Horton just do it?
I don't know. What's a faff? Have you ever reading into a microphone for like that amount of time? It's hard work.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, this guy, oh man, of all dudes, bad. And so anyway, bottom line, we want to start making use of that text to just orient our discussions a little bit. I don't think I want to commit to summarizing necessarily everything Horton said, but just the way he's structured his, his systematic is good. I think it makes for a helpful discussion. We can dip into it every now and again. And if you did want to start reading it, so we got Nick and I moving through the Church Fathers, and we'll try and keep you up to date there as to where we're going next. And if you did want to read with that, and then maybe just dive in, and we'll move systematically through Pilgrim Theology, some level of systematic approach anyway, not just like I don't feel like we need to exposit Pilgrim Theology. I'm trying to steer clear of that. But at the same time, it's hopefully helpful to you. I mean, it's one thing to listen to a podcast over years, which we hope you'll do. And we hope to be at it for years. But it'd be great if you could actually, over those years, actually work your way systematically from beginning to end through a whole body of doctrine, which should be, especially a doctrinal approach that really is so in sync with where we're coming from. So I think if anything, we'll just move around that text for a little bit, and if it sucks, if we're just totally not handling it or it's not working, then we'll abandon ship and we'll do something else, and we'll have as many breaks as we want to. So all rights reserved, etc. But yeah, I think it's a good plan. I like it. I'm excited.
It is a good plan, man. I am, and so it'd be good, helpful to get feedback on it. I think the good thing about going through the Church Fathers and going through a systematic is that actually you do get a variety of topics. So with the Church Fathers, you never know what you're going to get next. But also with systematics, you're not just staying around in one topic forever. You are shifting through different topics and through different elements of everything from theology to practical stuff, devotional stuff, all that kind of stuff. Ethics all comes out through a book like this. So it's a way for us to really cover a whole Christian worldview. So hopefully, there's enough variety there to keep people from getting bored or getting too stale, stuck in one topic for too long.
Yeah. And the thing is, if our discussion sucks, you've read the chapter, if you're reading along with us, and that'll hopefully help you stay with us. So that'll be good.
It'll make you appreciate Horton so much more.
I think so. And also I think, as you said, with the worldview thing, that's really good as well, because the way he approaches it in particular, I think is really helpful just to create that pilgrim worldview. I love it in that sense. It's beyond two kingdoms. It's covenant meets two kingdoms, seeps into everything. So Horton did a great job in that text. So
I think the other thing as well is like there's a lot of heat on systematic theology at the moment to kind of justify its existence. And everyone's like, oh, it's just people misuse text. It's just a way of, reading your own system into the Bible rather than actually doing proper exegesis. And biblical theology is very much in vogue, systematic theology very much out of sync. Although I think that is changing a bit now. But I think Horton's approach as well, addresses that, you know, so it helps you to
Mm,
see that you need both systematics and biblical theology.
yeah.
It's not a kind of either or, it's a both and.
No, the way his method is great. I really like it. I mean, he brings in all that Vossian goodness.
Mm,
Just works it through. And Klein is at the heart of everything he's saying there for the most part. Reels in a lot of Van Drunen stuff on Two Kingdoms and just goes 2.0 on everything. So
yeah.
it's a great text. I'm excited to look at it. Cool. So that's coming. That's good. Did I mention? Yep, I think I did. We're just going to try, and what I'll do is, just if you're wondering what's going on with production quality, let's say you're listening to the podcast and you're thinking, dude, are these guys just dropping the ball? What we're doing is we're experimenting. All right. So that means we're missing a few. Like I've forgotten to record a couple that we did. It just didn't work. I forgot to press the right button and, on it goes. But we'll get there. And so just bear with us. I think if we don't play around, it's not going to get improved and streamlined.
Nope.
And what I don't want to do is get tired of actually doing the edit stuff, which I'm already getting a little bit tired of. Not like I'm doing a whole lot of editing. I'm literally just re-uploading, but it's just it's that extra step that I'm trying to get rid of just to get a bit more space in the day and make this a bit more sustainable. So yeah, that's it. And then let me also take the opportunity to just mention in light of Pilgrim Theology, I got an interview with Lee Irons coming up, and we'll probably live stream that. And that will be on I think it was the 30th. I have actually got that in my calendar. I think it's my coming Monday. Might have that wrong. Might be my Tuesday. I'll say something more about that. So one way or another, you might get that on live stream. Otherwise, it'll be there on YouTube, and I'll definitely make sure to record that one and get it onto the podcast as well. So it's gonna be a great honor having Lee on. Really appreciate that guy and all his scholarship, and be interesting to see what we want to talk about merit and the Via Moderna and the way that the medieval mindset sort of seeped into the Westminster formulation. So it's he wrote in a fantastic article about that, and he's just I'm really looking forward to picking his brain on that stuff. So that is that. You're welcome to join me for that, by the way, if you want to. But
Dude, what would I have you? Nice. No, that's not my thing. You can have fun.
all right,
Like it sounds interesting.
right.
I'll listen to it for sure. But
Yeah.
like
All
that's
right.
not a conversation I can contribute to. The Via Moderna and Klein.
You know the Via Moderna though, right? The whole
Yeah, well, I mean, I know about it, but like, I don't, I don't know that I'm confident enough to join in with a conversation about it.
well, you
But
just got to read his article. That's all.
okay,
So yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
I mean, he takes you through the whole thing. So
That's
we'll
awesome.
talk more about that later. So, anyways, that's kind of cool. And then what we'll try and do as well is, just in light of everyone just having a bit more of wiggle room, we'll try and just get an extra session in here and there, and and just see what we can do. So just provide that extra pod, for the staycation that everyone's on right now.
Oh yeah. A lot
Yeah,
of people are working harder. It must be acknowledged that
that's
actually
true.
for a lot of people this ain't no holiday, especially
That's true.
nurses, doctors, medical people.
Well, even those who are working from home, it's just tripled their stress because now they got to like take care of kids,
Yeah.
do homeschool. They've never even signed up for that deal, and added to that, they have to just learn how to work from home, which is quite a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because all like desk sales just shut through the roof on the day before lockdown. A little stationary warehouse kind of thing. It just sold out all of its desks and printers, and so everyone's obviously stuck, trying to get
Wow.
organized.
Yeah.
And so things like that. And then, if Candace, my wife, is anything to go by, I mean, she's working from home now. She's a little bit better at it because she did that once a week anyway. But yeah, I mean, she's got a lot going on. It's not a vacation at all for her.
No.
But it
No.
is for me. I'm just chilling. I'm just doing whatever I want to. You're
I
preaching for
bet.
me on Sunday. That's why it's a staycation for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true. I better get that sorted now.
You better get that sorted. Don't let the team down. So that's gonna be good. And what are the news? While we're just doing updates.
Oh, yeah. So another thing is that I have an event tonight, my nighttime, your tomorrow morning, which is on the question, how can a loving God send people to hell? And John Baker is my brother-in-law, but he's also served as a missionary for several years and is about to start working as an associate pastor in the Evangelical Anglican Church. He is going to be doing the little talk and then helping me answer questions. So it's kind of like a live Q&A where people put their questions in through the chat and then we address them. And then he's going to do the little upfront talk to get the ball rolling. So it's really aimed towards those, outside the Christian faith, but obviously it serves the purpose of encouraging Christians and equipping them to deal with these kinds of things as well. So we expect a lot of Christians, but we also expect that there'll be non-Christians coming in. We are expecting a few trolls, so I'm trying to work out how to sort of delete comments and kick people off as well. Our Facebook advert, if you saw it, did attract a little bit of trollage. So, hey, there's no such thing as bad publicity, is there, Mike? So, I don't know.
Well, I got a dislike. One dislike, my first dislike.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It does. It pisses the heart.
It's like
Some
getting
guy who's
Mike.
trying to advertise his games. He like had some software, so I blocked his ass. And it was just next thing you know, give me a dislike. I'm like, dude, don't do
Is that
that.
what you did? Oh yeah, probably him, man. Dude.
Yeah.
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 Pity you can't
I
block
don't know if I'm
dislikes.
strong enough for the YouTube game, bro.
Man, it's gonna hurt. This is why celebrities do drugs, Mike.
I feel it. I feel it.
I feel it.
Oh man. All right. So this is the last floaty conversation. We'll keep this one short, because I know you got to get going. And will this probably be the last floaty conversation we'll have in a while? We'll be kind of
Oh,
focused.
but sorry, just to say,
Yeah.
if you want to join that event, just keep checking the Bethesda Baptist Church Felixstowe Facebook page, and there's
Okay.
stuff on there about how you can join it, or just go to my channel, my YouTube channel, Andre Beck channel, and you can find it there.
Do you go to your own channel?
I said it. I mean, I didn't know I had my own channel, but apparently I did. Yeah.
So it's like that.
It's like another dislike.
Going solo. You freaking dislike our channel. You did.
Yeah, maybe it's like sabotage from within. I've got a One Age Sojourner channel. Andre Beck, One Age Sojourner. Sabotaging the two ages from within.
So all right. So how much are you charging for that conference? Like 100 a pop?
Yeah, easily. No. It's free, bro. Gratis. Nothing.
What?
Nada.
What?
Unbelievable, isn't it?
But I mean, like, I don't know, like other guys charge for their live streams. I mean, just saying.
Do they? Do people charge for live streams?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Didn't even think of it, bro. Did not even think of it.
No. All right.
Next
So it's
time.
free. Get onto that. And yeah, I'll be checking that out. That'd be awesome. So that's my tomorrow morning. Excellent. Okay, good. What I was going to say was just one more quick little floaty topic, and then we will say goodbye. How are you finding online community?
It's been interesting. I mean, we're thrilled that we got most of our church onto our live stream, because you've got like a cool hip church, we've got like a very old church, so we had to keep it as simple as possible. So it's simply impossible for us to do the kind of Zoom, everybody sees each other's face thing. Because I mean, the business of downloading Zoom and setting up an account and all that kind of thing would lose 50% of my members. So I got, we're just keeping it YouTube live, click the link, go there, and even getting them to participate in the chat is too much. So yeah, it's okay. We had an L's meeting last night where we got some feedback on how to do it better. But yeah, we've divided the church up into, I guess, community groups or pastoral care groups, and they're checking in on each other. And the whole idea is you phone at least one person from your group every day, so that we're keeping some continuity with that going. And then pleased that we got most of our folk on Sunday. We've got the event tonight, so I think we're doing as well as we can do. Um, but it's
Cool.
the most painful thing about this is the folk who probably need this most, who are most shut in and isolated, are the folk who don't have access to technology. So they don't have email, they don't have,
Sure.
so they're just
Yeah.
totally out of it. They depend entirely on phone calls and things like that. So even phone calls sometimes is a bit tricky because they're so deaf they can't hear you on the other side of the phone. So
Right.
so we're working through those sorts of things and trying to work out how to, I mean, basically all we can do at the moment is pray for them, like that's
Yeah.
it. Because even posting stuff through the door and that is dicey, with
Yeah.
the whole contamination thing. Like it's not really
Yeah.
wise. It might be a risk that we need to take, but at some points, but it's not a great way forward.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the hard thing. I don't really know
Yeah.
how to help that, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, good. Well, it's funny. We are. Yeah, you mentioned. I mean, we are very well adjusted to the internet thing already. It's funny. Like my elders, we kind of meet on Zoom anyway. Even if like the one guy
Yeah.
lives down the road from me, and we still meet on Zoom. so so it's like that's how we roll. It's just more efficient, sometimes, and we'll meet in person when we can, but it's just
Right.
kind of like
Yeah.
you get more done. And so and everyone's so intuitively connected to the internet. I think New Zealand's got quite a strong internet culture in general, and then just the demographic in our church tends to roll quite easily in that sphere. So it's been interesting. Like I just came out of a community group now. It worked really well. It was just actually probably one of the better attended, just very good groups. I came away feeling like, wow, legit. I mean, obviously
So
you
what,
wouldn't want
you
to have
did that
that
on Zoom?
yeah. So we just did our normal CG community groups. We usually get together, discuss the sermon, got some questions, and yeah, everyone just sort of got in on Facebook Messenger. So it wasn't even Zoom, actually. It was just Facebook.
Okay.
I think you can get
Okay.
up to 50 people on that thing, which is
Oh.
crazy. And and yeah, everyone just I think we had to just set some ground rules, like, okay, so we're not going to flow as easily into conversations as we might normally. There won't be individual conversations going on. It's going to have to be one big group dynamic. But once you work those kinks out, and you got a facilitator who's moving along and bringing it together, and just rather than just say, hey, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Isolating people to give them a little bit of a spot, and get everyone else to listen. I mean, at the end of the day, you are basically, just compensating on some things that we take for granted there. But it comes through after a while. It works really well, and it creates a sense of order that perhaps you wouldn't even have in a normal group. So yeah, it was just, I really enjoyed just being with Candace. Usually we have to rotate, take turns. Same with most of the guys with kids, and so it was cool. So it's so far so good, but again, not the real thing. So it's like it's good for now. It's awesome. It's good for
It's
emergency.
manageable.
Very
Yeah.
thankful for it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it makes you realize how much you take for granted.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had our first elders meeting on Zoom last night, and it was a little bit weird. I think will take us a bit longer to get used to it.
Right. Yeah.
I find it quite difficult because I realized that a lot of what I do, a lot of the way I communicate, depends on reading people, like, and
Mm-hmm.
their body language and stuff. And you realize just so much of that is gone when you're
Yeah.
kind of doing
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
I think it's also why it's difficult to Zoom with people you don't know, to do this kind of thing, because we know each other, I can kind of anticipate your reactions to things, and you just kind of do it instinctively. Whereas with
Yeah.
people you don't know, you have no idea what's going on. You don't know how to read what's happening. You just
Yeah.
realize so much of communication, so much of being together is not just about, like, even being able to see a face and speaking, like, that's better than nothing, but there's more than that. And I realize how much I depend on that other stuff.
Oh man. So I was talking to a friend of mine. and he was, he preached their first sort of video service on Sunday, and he was just saying usually he's got his notes. He knows if he's got so many notes, he'll go so long, and that's just how he's rolled for years. He'll know he kind of hits the 30-40 minute mark, and so off he goes, does the video thing. But because he's got no facial prompts, he's not posturing as he preaches, because he can't see the people. He found he was short of material for the first time, or just ended up preaching the shortest sermon he's ever preached in his life. And I mean, I was just saying, I found it the other way around. Usually I go in with crazy amounts of material. I've got 40 pages. I've got an embarrassing amount of sermon length every time, but my process is the opposite.
He over prepares, my brother. He over prepares.
Yeah, I do. I mean, but what I do is I don't use my notes, so people should know that. I don't. I take it in there. I don't use them, and it's almost like my way of getting ready, I suppose. I write it all down. But then what I do normally is I drop stuff. So rather than add stuff, I drop it. So I'll drop it based on faces and just who's there, what
so
they
your
need.
sermon went on for 4 hours.
No, well, if anything, I went a little bit long. I think I ended up more or less normal, but I struggled with it. I was like, what do I drop? What do I keep? Because I felt the real risk of I could truly turn it into a very long sermon so that is my default. I'll just go on forever. And I really struggled I sort of took a guess really as to what should be dropped based on my own,
I guess all you can do is preach to yourself and let people listen.
Yeah, and it's not bad to do that, because usually if you do that at a really intense level, people will resonate with it. So I don't mind that. But even with that in place, it's like you just realize how much posturing happens from the pulpit. You hear that expression as it was Greg Heasley, by the way, who was saying this, and he was just, I think it was a really great point. So all to say, all these things we take for granted, but there we go.
Yeah, totally, man.
All right.
So
you're bored with this conversation. Let's
no, I was just checking to see if you mentioned Greg Heasley. He was on yesterday, so I was just checking to see if he was around. Not yesterday, Monday. What?
It's like Greg's been talking to me this morning. He spoke to us last night. He's had enough of us, bro.
I've had enough of
it. Dude,
so
I did you guys a favor. Yeah. All right. So, hey, anyways, a little bit of a floaty episode from us, but we wanted to just basically get you up to speed with what we're planning on doing. So just give us some room, let us figure this out. And hopefully we get to catch up with you guys in the future. And then of course, I think this will be the last one for this week. But yeah, we'll connect next week. Stay safe, people. Keep it real. I'm not going to do the jingle because it distorts on YouTube. It doesn't work at all.
So there. Do 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 do. Come on, you can bring the harmony, Mike. Do 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 do. Come on, Mike. Do it. Do it. Do 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 do. Nailed it.